Texans facing a little bit of adversity. How big of a deal is the suspension of Denico Autry? Plus some observations that matter a lot from Cam. Let's go inside the locker room, another live edition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source.
It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me right here throughout the season. Got you covered with the practice observations. If you missed those, go back and check those out. We're going to hear from Noah Brown. We're going to hear from Jimmie Ward. But let's just jump right into it. The big news of the day, Denico Autry, he's suspended. He's going to miss the first 6 games of the season. And the day actually started out kind of strange a little bit. Walked into camp. If you follow me on Twitter at Landry Locker, you saw me tweet out that Mario Edwards, who'd been playing on the inside all camp. It's not like this is new. But Mario Edwards on the roster, he was switched over from DN, which he'd been listed as all camp, to a defensive lineman, a DT, which maybe you just didn't think much of, but it was something that was brought to my attention. Then I asked who was going to be at the podium. They said Mario Edwards. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Saw Denico Autry not on the practice field. And then we got the news after talking to Mario Edwards that Denico Autry is going to be suspended for the first 6 games of the season. Now, I think if we look back at this and try to make sense of it, I think they've known about this for a while. I think that might be the reason why they signed Jerry Hughes, which was kind of confusing at the time. I also think it might be the reason why we've seen Edwards so much on the inside and we haven't seen Autry as much. I mean, I don't think they just got this news today. So I think they've been anticipating this for a while. I know Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans have had a lot of really good things to say about Denico Autry, but they're going to be 6 games without him, and we'll see how that works. I will say Mario Edwards has looked pretty damn good for sure, like really, really good when it comes to playing on the interior. Now, I don't know if that's more about him, a guy that's been in the league for 10 years, or if that's more about the Texans offensive line, and maybe we need to be concerned about the offensive line. The Jerry Hughes signing is the only reason I'm not pulling my hair out. Still a huge void to fill for sure. And you gave him a 2-year deal. What was it? $20 million. And then you heard Nick Caserio talk about him, called him a total badass. Yeah, I don't know how huge of a deal it is, but it's not great, to say the very least. But it kind of makes the wild ass day of Mario Edwards make a little bit more sense now. And that they didn't move him. Like, it's not like he's changed positions. He's just been not listed as a DT like he is now. So there you go. The roster change for Mario Edwards. And we'll see where they go. Do they make a move? I know the JJ Watt speculation is now being thrown out there. Look, that was going to be there whether this happened or not. I don't think that it impacts it one way or another. But we were already talking about JJ Watt before, so that's really nothing new. Other observations from the day, and if you want the specifics, the down and distance, you can go back to the earlier live and check that out. Andrew Beck, he kind of returned, he kind of didn't. I don't know what the hell happened here. I don't know if there was some sort of setback. I don't know if this was planned, but Andrew Beck, the starting fullback, and we'll get into the depth chart in a second. Andrew Beck He was on the field stretching. He had his pads on after working out on the side field for most of camp. And we haven't seen him practice. He came out in the pads and then he went back to the side field. So who knows whether that was a surprise or not, but that's what happened. That's the strangest news. I won't say whether it's good news or bad news. I don't know. Good news is Christian Harris is finally ramping up. Christian Harris was on the side field getting some work in, running around a little bit. Looks like they're tracking him. So Christian Harris, he's kind of just been walking around, chilling most of camp. He was on the side getting some work in. He had the cleats on for the first time, and it appears that he's at least trending in the right direction. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't anticipate he practices this week, might not even practice the week after, but the concern is kind of minimized now that Christian Harris is doing his thing. Laramie Tunsil, he's still out. Joe Mixon's still out. Joe Mixon's like foaming out the mouth. He's got the towel. He's very, very interested in practice. Jalen Pitre's the loudest guy on the defense when he's not on the field. Joe Mixon is the loudest guy on the offense. It seems like he's kind of foaming out the mouth to get back out there. Laramie Tunsil just hadn't practiced. Don't know what the deal is. I think he was probably a little bit more hurt last year than we believed. Would not be too concerned about him for sure. So we'll see how that goes with Laramie Tunsil. We had a scare with Titus Howard. Titus Howard, he actually went in the tent during Team 1, limped into the tent. You automatically anticipate the worst. I mean, it's not like the end of the world when someone goes in the tent, but with Titus Howard, a guy who's had trouble staying on the field, guy who was hurt heading into camp last year and then ended up going down for the season. Titus Howard goes into the tent. He's in there for probably 10 minutes, something like that. Then he walks out of the tent. He walks by Fatukasi. He tells him that he's okay. And by the time team period 3 starts, he's the first guy on the field. He's actually almost lining up before the offensive linemen do with his helmet on. So he immediately wanted to get back out there, but a little bit of a scare from Titus Howard just because we've seen what's happened with Titus Howard and how difficult it's been for him to stay on the field. Another interesting nugget from practice, Case Keenum, non-practice practice. That's what I'm calling it. Case Keenum did not practice today. Quite frankly, I don't know if Case Keenum still has anything left in the tank. He hasn't looked great. Maybe he left it all on the field last year. I've said this and I've maintained this. I think eventually Case Keenum's going to be a coach, and I think he's going to be on this staff. Maybe he's just one of those guys who walks away from the game and, you know, he's given his life to it, coach his son, all that, and he's done. I don't believe it. And you watch Case Keenum today, he had the earpiece in, so he was listening to all the communication attentively. I mean, he was right there, and he was basically Siamese with Bobby Slowick. Like, he was following Bobby Slowick around, watching everything that Bobby Slowick did. So I would say that Case Keenum didn't practice, but it almost felt like a practice. It almost felt like he was practicing and getting some sort of routine down. It would not surprise me at all for Case Keenum to eventually be on Denico Ryan's staff. Like, it would not surprise me. Matter of fact, if you gave me like betting odds, I would probably bet on it. What else is he going to do? I don't think that guy can step away from football. So keep an eye on that. Boyle's been getting more reps. Quite frankly, Boyle has a better arm than Keenum right now. He might actually be better. I don't know. Who knows? I didn't think Keenum had much left last year, and they went and won that Tennessee game. So that's something to check out. Jimmie Ward after practice. We finally got to talk to old Jimmie Ward. We'll talk about the depth chart in a second, what sticks out on the depth chart. But Jimmie Ward held court, and we're going to see two different personalities here on two different sides of the ball. It is the locker room. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. I think we're up to 10.2K now. Let's get that up. Let's get to at least 11,000 before the season starts. Hell, we might be able to get to 12 or 13. Who knows? Appreciate y'all for growing the community. Let's hear from Jimmie Ward. I asked the first question. I asked him what about the scuffle a couple of days ago. He didn't even know which one I was.
Sorry, the other day.
The scuffle, fight, whatever you want to call it, a few days ago.
Oh, let me see. I'm trying to remember which one, but
With Diggs across the middle, and then Schultz and Stingler.
Oh, it was this misunderstanding. It wasn't nothing. We let it go, but it's just iron sharpen iron, and guys trying to get better each day.
You love when the pads come on, don't you?
Yeah, it's real football. Situation football. So that's you practice how you play. I'm a big believer in that.
When that all did die down, you did talk to Denico, and you were on the field talking about it. What is he telling you in that?
Be smart. Situation. 2 minute. I was trying to play smart, trying to just do what the coaches tell me to do.
Do you feel something happening here with Denico as the coach, and now you and Aziz helping run this defense?
I feel like, once Miko got in here, things were changing around. I feel like Nick, shout out to Nick. Nick did a great job. That's GM for those that don't know. I could bring a lot of energy to the defense and help make plays and, help the team to that next step.
Outside of probably Denico, you and Steve are probably the closest when it comes to playing time. So what do you remember about his time in San Francisco and how he's translated that over?
Talking about Aziz, right? Aziz is the same guy. Aggressive, physical, natural born leader, great brother. I can say a lot of good things about him, and that's the reason why Miko went and paid him this money and got him over here.
Jimmie, do you feel like when practice is going on and it seems like a little drag, do you feel like it's probably part of your responsibility to sort of all right, pull the pin and just throw the grenade in there, let's get this thing moving when you think you're not moving right?
Out of all the snaps and the days that years I had in the game, some days it's going to start a little bit slow and then it'll pick up later, and I try to rally the guys up. So does a lot of other guys on defense. But, when you watch film, it's never as good and it's never as bad. So I'm pretty sure y'all heard this countless times before.
Can you talk about some of the young guys that in the secondary that you've seen so far from them?
They've been doing a great job. Miko and Nick did a great job in free agency and in the draft. Guys like Lockdown, if that's Kamari, if guys don't.
Boy, he got a lot of love today. You're going to hear Noah Brown, man, a few words. He had some strong words for Kamari Lassiter.
Know who that is? His Lockdown. I got the chain, which is cool. Been making a lot of plays. Like it's crazy. CB been making a lot of plays. His range out the middle of the field is it's fast. And then some of the I like Thule as well. Some of the defensive linemen that we have is been doing a phenomenal job. It's a lot of more guys I can point out. Sorry if I didn't name them.
So you okay calling him Lockdown already?
Yeah, he got his name way before he even got here. But I gave him that name once I was watching him in OTAs. Like, I'm pretty. Oh, was y'all at practice in OTAs? Yeah. Oh, y'all seen it, man. I don't need to say it. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen him out there.
Jimmie, you got to play a little bit of nickel defense when you were in San Francisco. James kind of doing it now. Do you feel like that's one of the more positions that you have to be very hyper athletic, well versed? It's one of the more difficult challenges spots playing. How do you feel Jalen's done so far?
Jalen feet is crazy quick, and he's like an energized bunny. Like, yeah, that's the reason why they put him out there. And then if you watch Jalen over there at Baylor back in college, that's what he played. He made a lot of plays.
This nickel thing with Jalen Pitre, I'm not saying that it's the wrong play, and I think that Jalen Pitre is going to be a useful football player for a long time, whether it's as a starter or a nickelback. But I would tap the brakes on acting like this is going to be like a great thing. I just find it hard to believe that with as much as he struggled in coverage last year, that coaches aren't going to sniff out situations where he's one-on-one. So it looks good right now. But let's just see what it looks like when the real games happen, because it almost feels like, despite what we saw last year, now all of a sudden it's, oh, he's there, he's in the right spot. Let's tap the brakes on that and see how that goes.
At it, so it's just pitting him as something that he's familiar with, and he rotates at safety too. And obviously it's only a handful of guys who can do both and be successful at it. And I feel like Jalen is one of those guys.
What's it like lining this year from last year and growth to this year with Jalen?
Really, just him playing that nickel position and safety and challenging himself. Like, he's been challenging himself since OTAs, and it shows. Like, and then he might be still over there. Well, if you could catch him at the practice, he over there getting extra reps, doing one-on-ones with one of the slot wide receivers.
It was actually
and it's cool to see, and it's cool to see his growth.
How much did you watch or know about Denico before he got here? And do you have a sense of how he's going to help this team?
Oh, he's been a baller since, I was in NSC with him. So obviously when we played against him, I know the head coach used to talk about him. Hey, Hunter, like, he gets to the ball, I've seen his highlights and this and that. So when we got him, it was, I already know what he brings to the table. He's going to play the run, and he's going to get to the quarterback.
So what do you see from Murray in terms of steadiness, and if you guys wind up, if this is the alignment, how good do you feel playing next to him, got you playing last year?
He's versatile. You see E out there making plays. He can cover. He can tackle in the open field. He's very vocal. He knows the playbook. He's a great teammate, and he's just somebody that fits in the system.
You're a team that won the playoff game, but the team as an organization hasn't made it past that divisional round, hasn't been to a championship game or a Super Bowl. How much in terms of team goals do you feel like this could be the team that you feel like you have the personnel, coaching to make a run?
I want to put expectations. We'll say that right now, but as of right now, I just want to talk about just winning each day, and and stack days up. So we get to that point, we earn that, that right, or get to the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens then.
Do you feel like Steph brings similar things, Juice, to the offense that you bring?
I like this. Listen to this.
Oh yes. Man, you see him out there. He's physical. He gets the guys going, which is pretty cool. And even that little altercation that we have earlier, like, look how the guys got his back and stuff like that, which is, it's cool to see. As a defense, it's like, okay, that's you got to ride for you guys. So obviously we teammates. We don't want to do that, but at the same time, it's football, man. It's training camp. Guys get hot. Guys get frustrated, and sometimes things happen.
Just from a standpoint of being able to watch him play when you were younger, Andre's going.
That's good stuff right there. And I think that's cool. Like, the guy that he was involved with, he respected that the offense was rushing out there. I like that mindset by Jimmie.
What is that going to mean to be able to see a guy that's represented this organization for years to be able to watch it live person?
Big for this organization. It's cool to actually go and see it. It'll be my first one that I'm actually seeing with my own two eyes. And I'm happy that I met him. I'm happy to have a relationship with him. And congratulations to Andre.
Appreciate it, Jimmie.
All right, thank you.
Oh, there you go. That's Jimmie Ward. We'll hear from Noah Brown in the sec. Jimmie has a little bit more to say than Noah, although Noah might have had the most powerful quote of the day. It is the locker room, #1 source for Texans digital content. Final practice tomorrow before the travel day and then the game. Be sure to be in here right after play concludes, and we will have the #1 post-game show right here. So appreciate everyone for rolling through. A couple of comments before we hear from Noah Brown and we break down the depth chart or overanalyze. In the life of Colby says he's just saying that because he doesn't want to play nickel. That's a hell of a theory right there. I actually think that's actually pretty funny, because that was one of the things. And this is a guy who follows the squad right there. Shout out to you, Colby, or just follows along with this channel, whatever the hell it is. He knows what he's talking about. Because that was one of the main talking points with Denico and Jimmie at almost like a joking level, where he just wants to play safety. He don't want to play nickel anymore. Even though when he did play nickel in San Francisco his final year there, he was a top 100 player on that NFL list. So yeah, in the life of Colby, I think that's a funny observation. It might be true though. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if you're kidding or not. It might actually be true. Next comment, we need to stop. This is from John. We need to stop this full contact crap in practice. I don't even know what you're talking about, sir. There's been maybe 3 hits, 3 times that someone's gone down to the ground. One time was Okudah on Woods. It was an accident. The other time was Jimmie. Okudah kind of gave a shoulder a little bit today, but yeah, I don't know where you're talking about, what you're talking about or what you're watching. They're still not taking anyone down to the ground. I mean, it's not like I don't know what you're basing that on, my friend. No idea. But yeah, the practices have been, I mean, they're not like going full speed, and they're not like doing the Oklahoma drill or anything like that. We at 10K, yeah, we're 10-2. Let's keep it rolling for sure. Yeah, you think it's true that Jimmie Ward? Hey, I would not doubt it. He did not want to play nickel, so I think that's a pretty astute observation. Noah Brown on the offensive side. We didn't know what Noah Brown and if he was going to be back on this team. The Texans brought him back on the 1-year deal. Last year, there were times where you had to rely on him perhaps a little bit more than you wanted. There were times where Noah Brown came through in big games. There was 2 out of 3 weeks where he was performing at an elite level. The Pro Football Focus, some of the graphics were showing, ratings from this week to this week, and he was right there in the top 5. That Cincinnati game comes to mind. Hell, even the Tennessee game, he elevated his play. He has a certain level of toughness. He's a Jersey guy. He's from Newark. He really doesn't mess around. He's just a guy at Ohio State. He didn't really have much experience at receiver. He earned his way onto the Dallas Cowboys as a special teams guy. Had some decent moments there when filling in when opportunity called. And last year, I don't know if the Texans get as far as they did without him, despite the fact he missed as many games as he did. Here is Noah Brown, and you're going to see right off the top, he ain't Jimmie Ward. He's a man of few words, but he did say something about Kamari Lassiter that was perhaps the biggest headline of the day. Here's Noah Brown.
What's this camp been like for you being back here for a second year?
It's been good. To shake back off the injury I had at the end of last year, come out here full go and make some plays. It's been exciting to get back out here with the guys.
How good do you feel about your wide receiver room?
Oh man, it's the best receiver room I've been in since I've been in the league, and it's full of great guys who want to compete, want to see each other do well. So it's been a fun time.
From a knowledge-based standpoint, with Diggs and then Jalen tenure, how much of the school just thought process of y'all doing this exchange of thoughts and everything about the game patterns and everything else?
All the time. I think that's one of the things about our room. We have good mix of young guys and a good mix of guys with a lot of experience, and we're always bouncing things off each other. Hey, what'd you see here on this route? What'd you see here? And I think it's really elevated our room.
No, you got to go up against him one time in practice, but how have you seen Kamari Lassiter transition from college to
Definitely the best young DB I've seen coming out of college that I've had the chance to go against. He's very sticky in coverage, very confident in his ability, and I think if he keeps on the pace that he's at, he could have an elite rookie season and an elite career.
Best I've seen. You heard him say that right there. Best I've seen.
What do you feel like puts him over other young cornerbacks that you've seen in the past?
Just that I think with him it's more confidence level. He's not scared to stand up there at the line with you. He's not backpedaling out early. He's trying to get hands on. He's confident in his ability, and you can tell through his play.
How does Stephon's personality special brothers do that?
First thing with Stephon, I say is energy. Every day he comes out, he's chirping. He's got something to talk about, and but it's not fake. It's something that he believes in. It's something that he shows every day since he's been here. So it's something I appreciate.
The one-handed catch we had over here a couple days ago. Like, what goes into the process? Like, could you take me through that? Like, I guess thinking, or does it happen so quick? It's muscle memory.
I mean, it did happen pretty quick, but I honestly made that catch probably a little harder than I had to. I looked up for the ball a little late and it was on me, so I had to react. But it's just what comes with the game, trying to make a play.
And I mean, in the moment, are you thinking like keep 2 feet in bounds, make sure like where are you like?
No, it's just feel. Just you know where you're at on the field when you know what route you're in and where you started, so you figure you got to be close to the sideline. Let me get my feet down. So.
You guys are going to the Hall of Fame this weekend with Deontay Johnson get inducted. Do you have any memories of watching growing up and just overall thoughts of being able to see somebody be representing this franchise for the first time?
Right. I think it's huge for this franchise. Like you said, the first person to represent them in the Hall of Fame is a huge thing. Andre had a hell of a career, and I'm glad that he's getting acknowledged for it.
You've kind of been in the same situation some of these guys are in the wide receiver room, fighting for a spot, playing a lot of special teams, doing some things maybe they haven't done before. Is there anything that you impart on those guys, or is it just they got to watch by example, lead by example for them?
You know, I definitely just one thing that I preach is, you know, be on the details. You know, one thing that I think is, you know, if you're somebody who's got to come in and play special teams, you might not be in the starting rotation. You got to observe the room and see what the room is lacking, and you try to bring that to the table so to get yourself on the field. And that's one of the things I share with the young guys, and I think they take it and run with it.
All right, all set. Thanks, Tom.
Oh, there you go. No, man, a few words, but that's strong praise for Kamari Lassiter, who happens to be on first team on the first depth chart, which we'll pull up here. The Texans dropped a depth chart, their initial one. Now, a lot of these guys, like if you're not on IR, then you still appear on the depth chart. So a lot of people were talking about Laramie Tunsil being on there. That's because he's not on IR. But let's just look at this. Might be a little bit small, but at quarterback we have CJ, Davis, Keenum, and Boyle. Running back Mixon, Pierce, Dare Agumbawale, Jawar Jordan, Cam Akers, and then JJ Taylor. God, they got a lot of running backs. Good Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good night. Andrew Beck is your starting fullback. Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins are your starting receivers. And then you have Mechie, Woods, Brown backing them up. Skoranek, Sims, and Hutchinson all listed as third string. I think Skoranek and Sims have outside chances at making the squad. That'll be interesting. Tight end, Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan, Cade Stover, then Quintariano. No surprises there. Dalton Keene's listed as a backup tight end. He hasn't been practicing. He's been on the side, so I don't think we see him. Your left tackles, Tunsil, Fisher, David Sharp. Left guard, Kenyon Green. He starts. Kendrick Green backs him up. And you have Juice and Patterson. There's no competition there. Then Shaq and Laramie on the are in Titus on the right side. Defense, really no surprises. Will Anderson, Mario Edwards, Fatakasi, Daniil Hunter on the D line. And then your backups are going to be Derek Barnett, Khalil Davis, Tim Settle. And then it gets kind of interesting with Denico Autry out. I don't know how they attack that at the DN. Dylan Horton still not doing anything. Solomon Byrd, haven't seen enough from him. Linebackers are Shair Harris and To'o To'o. So you have To'o To'o starting. They're backed up by Hewitt, Hanson, and Phillips there. Corner, Stingley and Lassiter are your starters. CJ Henderson's listed as the backup. We haven't seen him. He's going to have to do something. And then you have Okuda, and then there's 4 guys that all are going to have to be factors on special teams if they want to make the team. D'Angelo Ross, who they like, Troy Pride, Mike Ford, Chris Boyd, who got hobbled up today at practice. Nickel right now, it's Desmond King with Miles Bryant backing him up. Keep an eye on Pitre there. I know they've said that a lot. And then at safety, you have Pitre, Bullock at one safety, and then Ward and Murray. I actually think Murray is actually the backup to both guys. I know they have Bullock listed as second team. I think he's closer to third team. I don't even know that he's ahead of MJ Stewart at this point. So I know that Murray, they're only listing him at 1, but Murray's pretty much, he's Pitre and Ward's backup. So that's there. So that's really the early depth chart. No huge surprises. Damian Pierce is listed as the first kick returner. I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that. I actually think that's Des King. But we'll see. That's what the depth chart looks like now. It could change. They could add some pieces. When you look at the D line now without Autry, it does kind of stick out. They do lack depth, not necessarily on the inside, but now on the outside. Because you don't know who you're going to stick there. You have 2 elite guys, so there is that, and maybe there's maybe Denico readjust the chess pieces, and we see, maybe more 3-man front. I don't know, but it is something to keep an eye on for sure. And it was an interesting day. How bad is it? not great, but not the end of the world because Mario Edwards has been solid. If you want to hear from Mario Edwards, you want to get the update of what happened at practice, go back to that live video. Also got the 5 biggest thoughts about the Autry suspension. The content keeps on going. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Again, 10.2K, man. That is huge. We were just talking about 10,000 a few days ago. Now we're well into 10.2. So if you're not subscribed, please do. If you haven't liked, please like. The live stream for post-practice tomorrow at 1 is set up. It should be a light one because they got the travel day, but we'll give you the observations, we'll give you the sounds, and we'll give you the in-depth information. Business is just picking up. We still got a whole nother month of camp, practice, whatever, before the game. So let's continue to keep this momentum going. Before we know it, there'll be a game 2 days from now. Join the live stream, and always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all for coming through.
We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localized every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not 2. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah.